Hello, everyone. Sandrine here from Savoir-Faire Women's Nutrition. Tonight, I wanted to talk to you about the one thing that made, I believe, the biggest difference in my journey to address my PMS symptoms. Um, I never suffered from PMS symptoms in my teens and in my 20s. I was really lucky in that respect. It's only in my 30s that things started to go a little pear-shaped, and it kind of started with digestive issues. But the one thing that I really struggled with was sugar, sugar addiction even. And at the time, I had no idea it had an impact on my body. I think I was using sugar as a emotional crutch, if you like. Um, and I had moved to the UK. I'd moved a long time ago, but I was 20 when I moved to the UK, and you know, left difficult relationships behind. And I think I was definitely trying to compensate something lacking in my life. And it's only years later, it's only really even recently that I can really fully understand and appreciate what was going on at the time. And you are kind of on a roller coaster and you don't realize, you create habits. And my biggest habit was I used to work in an office for many years, but in one particular office, I used to go out with my colleagues to the nearest supermarket and get a Kit Kat every day. I had to have a Kit Kat every lunchtime. And it makes me smile now because, I don't need to do this, anymore. And I then sort of looked into nutrition. I was interested, I always was interested in nutrition. I grew up in France eating the best ingredients you can think of. I grew up on the farm, so we ate lots of produce from my mum's garden. And we didn't have access to vending machines. We didn't have all this sort of, sweet things that you can find at any street corner. So there was less temptations for sure. But when I came to the UK, it was like Christmas all year round. And it's very hard to resist. And I really get that. I really understand if you are in that situation and you're struggling with sugar right now. But let me tell you one thing is that sugar has such an impact on the body, not only when we are on this roller coaster, you kind of feel low, so you go for something sweet and then you get that energy spike and then you crush again. So this roller coaster basically puts a big strain on our pancreas. The pancreas releases insulin, and insulin is the hormones that manages our blood sugar levels. And and then in turn, these hormones impact the rest of our hormones, and eventually it does impact on our sex hormones, and that will then have an impact on our cycle, the length of our cycle, whether we experience, pain during our cycle, cramps and bloating. And I used to get breast tenderness and horrendous bloating. And then on top of that, I then had digestive issues. So you can see, how these things can happen, on top of one another. And when you want to then address them, you kind of have to unpick each one by one to understand fully what is happening. And so I'm really, really, really grateful that I've, come to my senses, I guess, that I just realized, what was happening and that I needed to get off this sugar addiction. And it wasn't easy. For sure, it wasn't easy. It took me a while. And I do encourage people to kind of go at their own pace. Some people like to go cold turkey. Other people may have to go gradually, I remember eating quite a few dried fruits to kind of wean myself off the processed food, and it's a step in the right direction because you are at least consuming something that's natural, a date or fig or that sort of thing. plenty of sugar for sure, but there's fiber as well, and there's minerals and vitamins. So you're eating something nutritious. That's what I was saying to myself anyway. But it's true. And then bit by bit, your taste buds start really changing, and it's an incredible feeling when you really get off this addiction. When you can see something sweet and you can just take it or leave it. It really, really feels incredible, and I will never forget that feeling of those cravings, the sugar cravings. Far less these days. Perhaps, mid-cycle, I do crave chocolate. I won't lie. Um, but if you are really interested in, addressing your PMS symptoms, because they're just, your body is it's just driving you crazy. Perhaps you want to address weight issues. Perhaps you're experiencing, brain fog or headaches, or, and you know that you have strong sugar cravings. Um, I'm here to help.